morning, good afternoon, good evening, Jar of Marble dwellers and Jar of Marble curious. My name is Linda and this is Jar of Marbles and I am Bob. Hello Bob, it's lovely to see you and it's lovely to see you too. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about thinking outside of the box. If you've ever been told you should think outside the box and didn't understand exactly how to do that, you've come to the right place. Oh, goody! We're going to discuss some ideas and work out how we're going to think outside of the box. My flabbers are gusted. Flabbergasted. So stick around and you'll also learn the many benefits of thinking creatively and how you can train your brain to be more open, flexible and creative. Here we go. When you think outside the box, you throw out the usual assumptions people would make about a problem and look at it from a totally different perspective. If you message me and I read it and I don't respond, I'm not ignoring you. I may have seen something shiny and then forgot that you messaged. Oh, I hear you, Bob. Use techniques such as brainstorming, mind mapping and role-playing to stimulate your creative thinking so you can more easily think outside the box. If you can't think of a word, say I forget the English word for it. That way people think you're bilingual instead of getting old. Hey, that's a great tip, Bob. I love it. Yeah, I thought you might like it, yeah. Think outside the box is an idiom that describes creative thinking. What is the box? Can I see the box? In context, Bob, the box is whatever the usual assumptions are surrounding the problem you need to solve. Oh, that sounds tricky. Well, to think outside the box means to ignore the things people normally assume and look at the problem from a different angle, a different perspective. Oh, yeah. It's hard for a lot of people to think creatively like this because it requires you to step outside of your comfort zone and think about some potentially risky things. Oh, do they just seem risky? Yeah. So thinking outside of the box can also cause you to question beliefs you've held for a long time. While that can be tough, it's also necessary for you to grow as a person. But don't you think you've grown enough? Because, you're really old. Yeah, thanks, Bob. Thanks for that. No, it's all right, but don't you No, don't, Bob. Can keep on growing forever, and that's my intention. Yeah, all right. True. Outside-the-box thinking is actually pretty rare. Surveys have shown that fewer than 10% of people think creatively on a regular basis. I actually believe that. Yeah, I'll tell you what, sometimes I believe it too. I started jogging today. I didn't want to, but the margarita truck player wouldn't stop. Yeah, thing. Move to a different location. What, like move your whole house? No, Bob. When you give the logical left hemisphere of your brain a break, it becomes much easier for the creative right hemisphere to take over. See, I said it's going to be complicated. No, it's not. So you take your problem-solving discussion outside. Go to a public place, go for a walk. You were going to say a fork. Well, I was, but I didn't. Or even take a shower. Something different to shake things loose. For example, if you're stumped trying to come up with a project for a class, you might take your dog to the park and try to put the project out of your mind. Something might come to you once you give the left hemisphere of your brain a rest. Oh, yeah, I get it. All righto then. It's said that every piece of chocolate you eat shortens your life by 2 minutes. I've done the math. It seems I died 1542. Yeah, that's right. I'm with you, Bob. Yeah, my body doesn't make chocolate, so I take it as a supplement. Oh, I love it, Bob. Yeah, me too. Oh, you would. Have you ever considered brainstorming ideas without judgment? What the? Well, yeah, so you set a timer, say, for 5 to 10 minutes. During that time, come up with as many solutions for your problem as you can without overthinking it. And whether they're anything you would actually do doesn't matter. Like, I think I'd come up with an idea for lost socks, start a retirement home for the lost ones in your sock drawer, that sort of thing. Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah, repurpose them. They could become backup Muppets. What? Remember you said no judgment. Quite right, I did, Bob. One of the hardest things to do here is to turn off your inner critic. Nigel! That tells you that you can't or you shouldn't do something or, that's a bad idea, that won't work. Or if you run out of toilet paper, you could return to the sock drawer.
I know it's not the best, but you could recycle later, right?
Yes, that's true. Yes, you could. It's possible. So to think outside of the box requires curiosity rather than judgment. Once all the crazy dies down, real solutions can quite often happen. Clarity of vision arrives.
Clarity of vision, oh yes, or solutions arrive on the wings of crazy.
Absolutely, Bob.
Yeah.
Either way, solutions are there. If you're having a hard time letting yourself loose, try to think of a solution to your problem that would be illegal.
What are you saying?
Well, while you're not actually going to do the illegal thing, having that idea up on the board shows that literally everything is on the table.
Oh yeah, sparks more ideas. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and if the problem is just too broad for you to tackle, you might need to scale it back with parameters. For example, instead of brainstorming how to increase social media engagement, you could start by focusing on a single platform. And while I think of it, Bob, did you nick off with my lunch today?
Look, I don't need a lecture. I knew that it was your lunch. We both know you left it unsupervised. I'd say you've learnt a valuable lesson, yes?
You're a bit of a character, I'll give you that, and I'll be hiding my lunch from now on. Hashtag thinking outside of the box. Look at the problem from a different angle. It's conventional to work from your starting point to your ultimate goal, right? But why not think about it backwards? Take a solution, then work backwards to figure out how you get there and what position you need to be in to get started down that path.
Oh yeah, I quite like that.
For example, if you want to run a marathon, you might imagine that you've finished your first marathon and then you map out the steps it took to get you to that point.
Oh yeah, righto. You know, I've tried the Japanese method of decluttering.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you know, where you hold every object you own and if it doesn't bring you joy, you throw it away.
Oh, yes.
Well, so far I've thrown out all of the vegetables, underpants, electric bill, scale, mirror and the treadmill.
Good on you, Bob.
Yeah, I'm telling you it's work. Hey, why don't nuts go out at night? Because they don't want to be assaulted.
Anyway, another thing you could do is draw a picture of the problem or draw a picture of the possible solution.
Yeah, here we go.
Drawing activates your creative right hemisphere and makes it a lot easier for you to see more creative solutions to problems that might have evaded you before.
Oh, yeah, all right.
It also allows you to visualise things in a way that you might not have been able to do before.
Hey, why does steak taste better in space? Because it is meteor.
Oh, groan.
I thought it was quite good.
You would. Hashtag thinking outside of the box. If you're not an artist or maybe not comfortable drawing, you might also mould something in clay or build something with blocks. These activities also stimulate your visual brain and get you thinking again.
Outside of the box?
Absolutely.
Well, you might doodle.
You might. Listen to other people's ideas. No one can ever completely separate their ideas from their background or their experiences and perspectives and all the things that make them who they are. That's why listening to other people is a great way to think outside of the box because they could be talking about potatoes and you've suddenly got a great idea for your apricots. My husband is a mechanic, builds engines, builds cars, dyno tunes engines, racing cars, an engineer, very clever, and has taught me so much. As he explains to me why certain things mechanically work or don't work, how they work, etc. It has helped me to appreciate the inner workings of so much things I could never have understood ever, and further to that, even considered things that even existed. So it's given me such a respect and awe for what he understands and does.
The point?
Oh, yes, there's a point. Good on you, Bob. Because he has a totally different box to work outside of that I do. So something that might seem off the wall to me is perfectly normal to him.
Oh, yeah, righto.
People tend to surround themselves with other people who are very similar to them because it's comfortable. And I was listening to an interesting talk this morning about staying inside the box with your thinking, being around people who are similar, to yourself. And so that can also point to just not growing. Essentially, it feels safe, and people that don't want to grow can run the risk of also being know-alls.
Oh, yeah, that's actually true.
Yeah, it's a bit painful when they hold an uneducated or uninformed opinion about something, say about their car, and I know that there is another solution, or that, my husband has explained these things before, and there are absolutely solutions to it, and they're just flat out wrong, and they simply cannot be told, for they are all knowing.
But they're not.
Well, no, they're actually not. That's not their area of expertise. But anyway, so that's a bit painful to be around, the strong opinions, flat-out judgments when they don't actually know. Even though I'm not mechanically minded, I have learnt so much, and much of it just blew my mind. I had zero idea, but it opened up my mind to ask questions and not accept things at face value right across the board. And I was just very fortunate that I could come to my husband and just say, hey, X, Y, and Z's going on. What do you think that is? And was always and is always interesting. I think it's wonderful to be around or be with and around people from diverse backgrounds, so that you always have access to different viewpoints.
Remember the I before the E rule?
Well, I thought it was the E before the I.
Well, no, the I before the E, except when your foreign neighbour Keith receives 8 counterfeit beige sleighs from weird, feisty, caffeinated weightlifters.
Oh, so easy to remember.
Is it?
No. And one of my all-time favourite things to do on any day is talk to a little kid about it. Talk about your idea.
The best.
Oh, it is. Little kids make all kinds of connections that adults wouldn't think of, especially when they're just playing and having fun. They don't have all the assumptions that adults do, so they can see things more easily that would be considered unconventional to an adult. Playing with children's toys can also put you in this headspace as well.
Oh, yeah, that's actually right.
Yeah, it is. I love playing with my grandson, AJ. I love getting his help. He comes up with new and innovative ideas that I would never have thought of before because, as the adult, I kind of know that won't work. But you know what? Sometimes it actually would. And I like it when he thinks that I can fit into tiny bikes and wagons that one of my thighs wouldn't even fit in. But anywho. But, this is a good thing too. Ask someone outside of your field. This technique tends to work best if you're dealing with a problem at work or school. Your field or industry has many assumptions that you probably take for granted. If you talk to someone who isn't at all familiar with those assumptions, they can point out things that you might have otherwise missed. Yeah. So talking to someone who isn't making the same assumptions as you is a bit of a shortcut. You can also think through this and try to imagine what they would say, but that takes quite a bit of empathy.
I just bought some satin sheets and satin pyjamas. Yes, I did. Just went and jumped into bed and ended up in the neighbour's garden.
Yeah, satin's a bit like that. So you are not limited to just having a conversation. You can also read articles about how the problem is addressed in different fields, or otherwise expose yourself to different methods. For example, if you're trying to come up with new plays for your football team, you might go to a rugby game and see if you can get some inspiration from some of their plays that you could adapt to your own sport.
Well, that was very generous of you.
It was?
Yeah, you're not exactly a fan of football.
Well, I'm just thinking out of the box.
Oh, yeah, right.
Role play, different solutions to see how they play out.
Oh, yes, I love me a bit of role play.
Steady on, Bubbo. Acting a solution out can help you see the problems with it, as well as maybe how to fix them.
Essentially talking to yourself.
Yeah, talk to the expert, I'll say. You also might uncover a totally different solution that would actually work better than the one you originally proposed. And if you are having a bit of a yarn with yourself, talking out loud, you can hear how it might actually be inappropriate to say what you're planning, or might be too harsh or not clear enough. So practice. Talking to yourself is a solid thing to do.
An applause?
Why not, I say?
Yeah, all right. My first job was a diesel fitter at a pantyhose factory. As they came off the line, I would hold them up and say, yeah, diesel fitter.
Hashtag thinking outside of the box. Try mind mapping to find holes that could be filled.
Mind mapping, this'll be good.
To create a mind map, start with one thing. Write the word for that thing on a piece of paper, and then from that, then write other things around that word and circle them in a circle. So you're writing things around the original thing that is only to do with that thing that you're trying to achieve. And just keep on repeating that process until you've filled the page. Going backward like this helps you see the different parts that go into something that you can more easily see where there's a gap you could fill or a process that could use some improvement.
Gotta be worth a try.
Yeah, if you haven't tried, then you can't say you've tried everything.
My wife just left me. She says life revolves around football and she's sick of it. Quite upset. We were together for 7 seasons.
Ah, that truly sucks, Bob.
You think? Yeah, me too. I think you're right, yeah.
Go for a walk to boost your inspiration. Studies show that walking is a great way to get your creative mind going. And if you've ever done it yourself, you know yourself how much better you feel when you're walking. It's pretty hard to feel bad when you're out about walking. After a while, you just start feeling better. And if you're ever at a loss for ideas or struggling to find a creative solution by thinking outside of the box, a short walk outside in nature can be so helpful. If you can't get outside, walking inside can be just as beneficial as can any other kind of movement, getting up and moving around, even if it's just doing a few jumping jacks.
You've done that.
I have, yeah. And it actually does help. I only get to about the 3rd jumping jack, and I do. You just feel better, and it does kickstart your creative mind.
Hey, you hear the Hulk has started recycling?
You've already told that, Jake.
Oh, yeah, right there, okay.
Maybe it's just plain time to start over with a clean slate. If you've ever thought you'd do things way differently, if you have the chance to start from scratch, here's your chance. When you merely build on what others have done before you, you're likely not to come up with any really truly new ideas.
No.
To come up with a new idea, you have to either be able to connect seemingly unrelated concepts or to figure out a different way to do something that's better and more efficient than the usual way of doing it. One of my favourite shows is Homesteading. It's about a dad and his adult son and adult daughter, the Rainies. They go all over Canada and America helping homesteaders who are living off the grid, and they come up with new ideas for successful homesteading families, from construction, farming and other necessities.
Protection from wildlife?
Yeah, all thinking outside of the box, can I just say. And much of it, while it appears to be common sense, developing new skills, some of the ideas are pure genius. They show how to change gears so that they can survive, and more than that, thrive. I'm a fan. I love it.
3 weeks ago, I sent my hearing aid in for repair. Heard nothing since.
Oh, yeah. Question how things have always been done. Outside the box thinking is, at its heart, unconventional thinking.
Oh, yeah, that's right up your fandangle.
Yeah, you'll find unconventional solutions if you ask why those conventions exist in the first place. Whose ends do they serve? Who benefits from them? Are they even relevant anymore? Those questions and more I have asked many times, like, wait on, who actually benefits from these solutions, making sure myself and my family are included. For example, if you're looking for a new and original breakfast idea, you might question why French toast is always sweet. This could lead you to the idea of creating a savoury French toast dish.
Oh, that sounds really nice.
Yeah, growth thinking outside of the box allows you to come up with creative solutions to problems that help you grow, either in your career or in your personal life. If you stick to the same assumptions as everyone else, you'll stagnate after a certain point, and we don't do stagnation.
No, we don't.
No, we don't. Moving beyond those assumptions is the only way to progress. I've noted that with thinking outside the box rather than predicting things, we can kind of imagine various alternatives, different outcomes, and I think grow from the process.
I tried to climb a really tall tower in France, but I fell off. I fell off.
Yes, Bob.
Yeah, well, I like it.
Awareness. When you make creative thinking and questioning assumptions a habit, you become more aware of the connections that you have with everything and everyone around you, because you're curious, you're open-minded and flexible. You go into any situation with your eyes wide open, thinking through many possible solutions. Like, who do I know who might know someone who can do this or could possibly answer this question? Finding possible solutions to problems also means that you're aware of other things that might work if you try one thing and it fails.
Hey, where do dads store all their dad jokes?
Where?
The database. Oh, yeah, I like that.
Hashtag thinking outside of the box.
Hey, I never knew how technologically advanced Moses was. He had the first tablet that could connect to the cloud. Boom! Yeah.
Empowerment. With thinking outside of the box, it can really make you feel like you have control over your ultimate destiny because you're aware and agile. You know that you're able to formulate a solution to most problems that come your way. You won't shy away from problems that might seem too complex or too difficult because you'll know that there are different ways of looking at those things. You'll also be less afraid of failure.
That's really true.
It absolutely is, Bob. Opportunity can present itself when you think outside of the box. You're much more likely to see opportunities on the horizon and you get yourself in the position to take, those opportunities.
In position.
Yeah, when you have tunnel vision focus on a particular goal. On the other hand, you often overlook these chances and pass them by.
Seriously, dwellers, you ain't living on the edge until you share a straw with a toddler. Surprise! You just sucked up half a biscuit.
Ooh. That's true. People who think creatively often seem to be very lucky, but really, is it luck or is it just that they're more aware?
I've never thought of it like that.
I know, right? If I had $1 for how many times I've been told that I'm lucky in my life.
Yeah, me too. I reckon I'd have about $7.50.
They're also more flexible.
What do you mean?
Well, probably because they're
more good looking?
Well, yeah, okay, let's just say that. But they're able to see the value in many different paths as opposed to being committed solely to just one way of doing things.
Oh, yeah.
Ringing true for you there, Bob?
Yeah, very much so.
Creativity is the driving force behind every innovation, large and small. Often innovation happens because someone started thinking about a problem in a different way or asked different questions than other people were asking and found the best way to do something as a result. Map out a response to the worst case scenario.
Yeah, righto. I think some things are better left unsaid, and I usually think that right after I've just said it.
You know what, Bob? I actually believe that.
Yeah, I thought you would.
Is fear of failure holding you back from even thinking about taking a potentially risky path? And to be clear, when I say risky, I don't mean dangerous. I simply mean
out of your comfort zone for the betterment of self.
Well played, Bob.
Yeah, I thought so.
Write down the absolute worst thing that could happen. Then think about how you deal with that. When you have a plan in place, you won't worry about it anymore because you'll know that you're capable of handling the worst. And this gives you the freedom to think more creatively.
Oh, yes, before I forget, the best part about pooping with the door open in the morning is being able to see everyone's face at Starbucks.
Oh, yes, I can see that.
Yeah.
Fear can cause you to stick to well-worn paths that you know will be successful to a degree rather than taking risks that might pay off big but require you to blaze your own trail. Envisioning the worst case scenario can help you convince yourself that even that isn't bad enough, that you shouldn't try the riskier move.
I hate when people say bite me and then they act all surprised.
When you think about it, 99% of the things that we fear and worry about never happen. Yet we stay stuck in a pattern of living our daily lives shackled by these fears that will likely never come to fruition. Why are we living our fears rather than our dreams?
Yeah, why are we? Thinking outside of our boxes is a thing, isn't it?
Very helpful thing. Loads of surprises and innovation waiting there to be discovered. Harness the power of positive thinking. Negativity kills creativity faster than anything else. Negativity speaks in limits and emphasises what you can't do and the worst thing that'll happen and what they've read and what the blah, 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 blah. Creativity thinks beyond the limits and focuses on what you can do. When you think positively about all of the things that you're capable of achieving and all of the things you have achieved in the past, it becomes much easier to think creatively. Even this, I'm talking, you're listening, it's all in the creative realm. You don't have to have it all figured out. Just don't ghost yourself.
Wow!
Yeah, don't do it. Positive thinking will also improve your overall mood.
What won't it do though, seriously? And a good mood also increases your...
Bob, I know. I know.
Increases your creativity.
It does. Repeating positive affirmations each day is one way to encourage more positive thoughts, because if we stop and have a little think about what we're actually thinking, sometimes it might not be really good, and I think it's always a good idea always to eliminate those negative thoughts. I love those. I can change my mindset and mood very quickly by actually doing this.
And your jumping jacks.
That's right. True that, Bob. And it's time to go.
No!
So glad you joined us today, Marble Dwellers, as always. And remember, thinking outside of the box is going to mean some kind of progress.
Well, that's good.
And progress most often looks like chaos before it looks like art. And that is the end for this week. So say good day to the family for me, give the budgie a feed, and we'll see you next time, okay? Okay then, bye.
Bye!